it's my pleasure to be here. Permit me to stand on every existing protocol. I think it's to say that I'm glad to be here. DSN is very special to all of us in the tech space. For me, it's an inspiration. In 2019, when I was starting up RAIN, I'd like to have my slides. In 2019, when I was starting up RAIN, I was thinking, all right, I know I'm going to be, dealing with robots and AI, but how do I come up with a name? Then I thought about DSN, data science, which is in the curriculum, Abi, Nigeria. And my own curriculum is robotics and AI. Okay, robotics and AI, Nigeria. So if you have plans,
you can set up cybersecurity Nigeria, blockchain Nigeria. The space is still there for all of us. But today, I have only 40 minutes, and I think I'll try to make the best use of this. I know that in this room we have people with some level of expertise in the topic of AI, but I've been told to deliver this presentation as if I'm speaking to beginners and intermediate learners, so that we can carry everybody along. So, Agentic AI Systems, what are the capabilities to expect from Agentic AI? What are the challenges we should be aware of and try to surmount? What are the risks we should avoid? But you see, this whole discussion reminds me of the regular agents in Nigeria. I don't know how many of you have gone to apply for passports I don't know about now, but before. You go to where the immigration office and somebody will come to you, Oga, I beg, I will help you. Passport, I think go out. And then of course I'll call one agent for you from inside the office that will help with your passport. They try to make your work easier. So all you will do is, this is my passport, I want the 64-page one and everything. And they will take you from one point to another. Your life is simple, no stress. But then there's a problem. If that agent says to you, okay, give me your ATM card so I can do the payment for you. You say, okay, what is that now? As how now? That's too far. If the agent makes a mistake with your name, for example, NIA registration, many people, the agent will say, okay, I know your name, and then they'll put you in the wrong way. You will have to do it yourself again, going through affidavits and all. So human agents have tried. But the world is saying, we need AI to do what human agents are doing. Because if it's AI, and I know there is no village people in the AI, I can give it my ATM, long card numbers. I can give it access to my Facebook to help me comment on posts. And people are doing it. I was chatting with one AI company CEO, and we were chatting on WhatsApp. Then by evening, he replied and said, I'm so sorry I've been away, I wasn't able to respond to your messages. I said, no, but we just finished talking. He said, no, that was my AI assistant. I said, please check everything, do you agree with all To tell you that people will happily give AI, believing that it will not be corrupted or try to be, sneaky. So this discussion is very important because the whole talk about will AI take over our jobs is taking over the agents' jobs. So if we are not in that space, we will lose at the end. So we all must build that AI that seeks to take over jobs, so that when it becomes rampant, it will be you creating the AI that will take over some jobs. And of course, we always argue that when it takes over those jobs, newer jobs will be created. So nothing to worry about. Next slide. So when people talk about AI, the idea is ChatGPT. At least for now, you go outside, not in this room, but when you go outside, and if you go and talk to business leaders and say, the company has to make use of AI, they'll say, yes, I'm already using AI. On my phone. In fact, this lecture I prepared it with AI. Okay? AI is different from AI. ChatGPT is a member of the set called GPT. GPT itself, generative words, pre-trained transformers, alongside generative adversarial network GAN, are subsets of the larger Gen AI. This slide is not sliding again. It's okay. You know what I mean. So, when you look at Gen AI is not alone. Look at the journey. It started from predicting AI. When you talk of supervised learning, unsupervised learning, try to detect patterns in data, anomalies, seeing if there are relationships. What do we do with predictive algorithm? We can predict the next sentence, the next word in the corpus of text, right? We can also predict the next character in pixels, and that is what we do to generate images. So the whole idea of predictive AI is what helps us to build generative AI. Generative AI being the kind of AI that can develop content for us by predicting the next pixel or the next text. But generative AI, how did this my slide? Things are happening. Anyway, from generative AI, we are now talking about agentic AI. So get used to this agentic, it's just starting. And I love the idea of DSN bringing it to this bootcamp, because in the next 5 years, agentic AI will be a thing of the past and moving to another thing. So the earlier you catch up, the better. Next slide. Now, let's look at how we have evolved so we can appreciate what agentic AI is about. Information retrieval. Google search engine, for example. You want something, you type the text you want, it looks for the information from anywhere in the world. That's an information retrieval system. But there are many ways. This is not English again. Please, do you have the PDF?
Do they have the PDF? Give them the PDF version. Okay. This is testing whether I'm the one that wrote the slides. I see what you are doing there. To know whether I use gamma. I see. No problem, we'll continue. So information retrieval is about whether we can get access to data from the internet. And Google did a good job on that. You type your query on the search bar and it tells you through either the normal system of information retrieval, which is like keyword search, or APIs. So have you heard of APIs before? Application what? Program interface, right? Helps you to collect data from a particular server that has already prepared its response to your query. So with that, we are good, and we've been good. But we figured out that human beings are no longer ready to start thinking of what to search and getting results that are not sufficient and then doing another search. We moved to generative AI. And that's what lecturers are now angry about. In the olden days, we used to search and research and research. Now AI is doing it for you, and you just come and say, this is my article, my paper. Do the research yourself. Why should I do the research myself? Gen AI has helped us move away from information retrieval to just us giving it a very good prompt, and it does the research for us. Away from generative AI, we became tired again. Because we had a problem. If you remember, ChatGPT saying to you that, I'm so sorry, but at the last time of my upgrade, this was the president of Nigeria. I don't know if he's still the president. Remember all that? They now move to RAG, Retrieval Words Augmented Generators, where they can base their data, their response, on a certain controlled access to data. It could be internet-based data, search results. It could also be data from a document. Like if it's a company that wants to relate to a particular fixed data source, they can restrict it to that. So with RAG, we were good. Then something happened. It started becoming boring. I will chat with Meta AI, ChatGPT, Claude, and so on, and I have to copy it and paste it somewhere. Then what did they do? They started entering our spaces. Meta, for example, now you can call Meta in your conversations. In a group conversation. Meta, what do you think about this? Same thing with Claude. Claude will tell you, you can publish the results. Notebook LM will tell you, you can actually even push it as an audio podcast. So they are already beginning to do something extra. But even that was not enough. People started saying, wait.
It can be done on your platform. Let other people use your package to build agents. Which in this case were I'll move from that to AI agents. AI agents being the ones that can now help us do hotel bookings, flight bookings, and so on. This is now where we are. We are now at the point where someone can make use of the GPT 4.0, for example, to do what? To initiate and complete a task. If it's to book hotels, let me know all the hotels or the websites to go to. Let me know how the hotel can be, that website can be interacted with in its API. Let me now build an algorithm that links queries, prompts to actual completion of bookings, whether it's flight tickets or so. So with that, we say, okay, we have a solution. But then, there is a problem with AI agents. AI agents still need you to do a prompt, as if you are chatting with an LLM. Help me book a hotel. The hotel should be somewhere near maybe Aso Rock, and from this date to that date, and so on. And it will end up trying to do what you have said. But the ability to come back to you, send emails, and so many other things, it might be limited in what it can do. So on that note, we now have what we call Agentic AI. So that means that Agentic AI and AI agents are close to each other, but are not the same. So what's the difference? The difference between Agentic AI and AI agents is this. An AI agent will take your prompts, let me say your text, simple English, language, NLP, and will process it to achieve a task, which could be booking a hotel, or booking a flight ticket, or maybe checking for gaps in the security system of an architecture. But the Agentic AI is the one that coordinates multiple agents to do a particular thing. For example, the guy that comes to meet you at the entrance to the immigration office, he is going to tell you, don't worry, just bring your documents. He will take you to the passport guy. That's an agent. When the passport guy finishes, he will take you to maybe a place to register your presence. When that is done, he will take you to a place for payment. These are all different agents. But rather than you think of how to approach agent 1, agent 2, agent 3, he is the guy that knows who you need to see. He knows the protocol involved. He even knows what this one will ask you to give. He might even answer some questions on your behalf. Have you gone to buy a ram or cow before in the market? Have you? Has anybody? You go there, you probably cannot speak the language. Somebody will just come, follow me. How much is this and everything? And then you just say, okay, don't worry, no hungry. You go to another place. You are just following, hoping that it's in your best interest. It's okay, I've been there. No slide again. All right. So, we have now entered the point of Agentic AI. And I'm going to show pictures of what the architecture looks like. But in Agentic AI, something is very important. And that is the coordination. And that coordination is done by LLMs. LLMs are good enough now. Have you used, for example, ChatGPT to give you a list of how to study something like a curriculum? You have used it, right? They are good at that. So, very good at it. Very good. ChatGPT can tell you if you want to achieve conversation with your clients, ask about this, ask about that, send them emails, make sure you send them reminders, and so on. Yes. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Thank you. Well, I've missed out on this. So the key thing about Agentic AI is that they are autonomous. You don't have to tell them everything they need to do. They can understand the protocol to follow. They can also be proactive. Even the things you have not mentioned, they know you will need it. It's still an LLM, but there are already prompts in it that allow you to know what this whole task would entail. Perception, they can actually gather data from anywhere. What do I mean by that? If you are trying to converse with your customers, for example, you need to know the customer's details. Already in this architecture you will see soon, you will give you access to your database of all your customers, the latest things those customers have done with you, and so on. That's part one. Part two, the protocol of the company. What does the company do with customers? What does the company have at the moment? And so on. Another database. And even access to some other database about other people in the company. So if it needs to interact, it has access to all of the relevant data it needs. Reasoning and planning, this is that coordination I was talking about. It needs to know when to do what, why, and how. So it doesn't really need you in the picture. That's why we said autonomy. But the autonomy is not supposed to be all that. You will see when we get the challenges, and I'll be very fast. With challenges, we try to say, wait, as intelligent as this might be, as autonomous as it might want to be, the human in the loop must still be there. Human in the loop means that at some point, the bug should still stop at your table. Where you will say, send that email, go ahead. Or yes, delete that particular person's information or whatever. So that it doesn't do things that you won't be, because there's no control Z in this one. Once computer does this, I've fired the person, I've fired the staff already. For what now? So and so. Move on. So it's being used for bank fraud detection, customer service and co. Now, I was trying to say that the entire coordination that Agentic AI does is managed by the large language model. You have to choose which one. Right now, they're all working together. Claude, DeepSeek, OpenAI, Meta, and so on. All working together, Gemini as well. With this LLM, it interacts with your database. This is your LLM working as an Agentic AI. Where will you find this? We'll talk about that. Working as an Agentic AI, it accesses your database, is able to perform some actions like emails and so on, even phone calls. It's able to interact with you, and it's able to store things in the give you feedback as well, so you can think and reject whatever it has done. Next slide. Next slide. Okay. So, very important to understand that the LLM that is handling the coordination, if it were in the past, 2-3 years ago, and you tell me, write an algorithm where you can use ChatGPT to do some reasoning, and then based on what ChatGPT wants you to do, you can send emails, you can send SMS, you can actually maybe call a number using Twino. I will still be able to write it, but I will have to go through the API documents of all the servers I'll be interacting with. If I'm going to send an email using, there's one popular one, Mail something.
MailChimp.
I'll have to read their documentation. What's the API for this? Then I'll have to write my own algorithm, my own protocol that links everything the LLM wants me to do to the necessary API it must call. So what happened? Anthropic in 2024, last year, decided that, wait a minute, if we are going that way, where LLMs now need to be talking to servers, let's build a protocol such that large language models can simply access API documentations automatically. And they call that Model Context Protocol. Model Context Protocol means that what kind of language, what kind of set of words should the LLM query to your server, to which endpoint in particular, for your server to know what we want and link it to the right endpoint that will attend to us. So that means that with what Anthropic has brought up and with open source, every server, every back end of any major service like MailChimp, Twilio, and so on, now have what we call an MCP server, which is another endpoint on their platform. When you query that server, it gives you all of the relevant information in simple English. If you want to send an email to os@gmail.com, simply access /mail/send like that. So that the LLM doesn't have to be looking for their API documentation. So there is just one link to go to get the MCP protocol of that server. Now, relevant servers are doing that. But even Anthropic has already gone as far as helping some to do. So if you go to modelcontextprotocol.io, you will see a list of MCPs that are already existing. You can add your own to it for your server. So that, because this is the SEO of the future, where if your server has no way of LLM communicating with it, no matter what people are saying on LLMs, on ChatGPT, let's assume you own an hospital, for example, and I want to book an appointment. If I say, okay, Loyola Hospital, I would like to go there, it might say, sorry, you have to go to their website. But as you have the MCP, you can say, okay, would you like me to book it for you? And maybe my bank details are already on my Claude or ChatGPT or Meta. It will help to make the booking, and all I'll do is show up at your hospital. So that's the kind of thing. So let's move on. Very soon, this will grow by 33% in the next 4 more years, so let's be prepared. Next slide. What are the advantages? Number one, time. Sorry, I think I've entered into the conclusion part now, so let me mention this. Apart from model context protocol.io, which is where relevant MCPs are already hosted and registered, there is a website you need to go to if you want to build your own agentic AI, where you will link your LLM through the MCP to various servers. And that website is called n8n.io. 8, number 8, N for nobody, so n8n.io. That is where to go if you want to start building your own agentic AI. It's simply an ecosystem of various agents communicating with servers and amongst themselves. Google has helped to build a protocol through which agents can communicate. So if you are building an agent as well, maybe for a particular thing, maybe transition in Oyo State or in Lagos State, you need to build that agent along with the protocol that Google has developed called the A2A protocol, agent to agent, so that other agents too can ask you questions. What is that protocol about? It's about asking your own agent, what services do you offer? Who do you talk to? What do you need me to tell you for you to know what you need to do? So it's just like the MCP of servers, but the ones that agents too can identify how they relate with other agents. So that's important. When you adopt agentic AI, you help organizations to improve the time, the speed with which they attend to processes. For example, on your Google, when you try one thing, it gives you an indication that, okay, enter your password now. If you don't enter your password correctly, it might log you out on every service that Google is managing for you, because they already suspect security breach. It's so interesting. If you see, the security on those platforms are crazy now. And it's easier because they are being automated by a brain, just one brain that knows what's going on across the entire ecosystem of that platform. So with time and speed, there will be advantages. You can handle it and still achieve the best result. Accuracy is also there. Language versatility. Imagine a brain coordinating all agents, able to communicate across different languages. That's useful. Incorruptibility. I'd rather deal with an AI agent than a human agent that might be, in a way, corrupt. Scalability as well. Now, we'll talk about challenges, but take note, you don't have to have everything sitting on your local system. Just by paying for access to a cloud service, you can host your agentic AI on the cloud. N8n is one of them. Once you design it, anybody can access it. Today, if you go on N8n, it's almost like a job site, where somebody says, instead of looking for virtual assistants, I know some people are like, oh, I'm a virtual assistant, I can help you with everything. You are a virtual assistant. Will you be listening to my phone calls? Somebody wanted to be my virtual assistant. I said, okay. So when I have an important meeting on phone, I'll now call you to brief you. So who is working for who now? Oh, that's okay. I'm sure there are ways to handle it. Maybe I should record the calls. Okay. But with an agentic AI system, it will listen to your calls if you permit it. If there's an agent for that, it will take actions on your behalf. So it's becoming the thing. How can we apply this to education? Think of a student in the university. I wish, you know how schools have career counselors? I wish there would be one attached to each student. So that every process you are going through in that school, the classes you attended, the assignments you submitted, the classes you missed, your exam performance, that agent will prepare you based on your past records, the things you struggle to understand. Now, that is possible. If you build that, you build a system that can take over. Are you really taking over anybody's job? No, because at the beginning, we never really had one counselor attached to each person. So you can build that. In the healthcare system, the same thing. With care, you need a kind of assistance attending to every patient. Same thing for drug discovery. 5 minutes more, next slide. Okay, businesses too need this for managing customers. Again, the same way we talk about students. You want something that will attend to customers' needs. Imagine as I leave this place, I get an automated message from DSN or from Unilag saying, oh, you were at our campus, thank you very much, and I wish you a safe trip. And when I get back home, it says, have you got it home now? You know, I don't need to know that it is not a human being doing this. You can give your agentic AI a name, and it will do everything as if someone is taking it so serious, so personal. And then that is going to help the business to manage its customers and to grow. Same thing with processes in the business. Public services, government needs this a lot. I've always said that the reason Nigeria is where it is in terms of whether it is protest today or tomorrow, or whether it's insecurity in one place or the other, is because some people feel that government is now aware of what they're going through. Imagine, and tell me the truth, imagine you graduate and you get a message from Minister now, Education, saying that, wow, Kyle, you really did very well, I'm proud of you. You don't need to know that that was not the minister, but you might be like, minister contacted me, right? I feel so important. Then anything you're going through, minister, I went to social place, it's true, even my document, they said I'm nobody. And the guy is, okay, you know what, send that to my email, let me attend to this today. It gives you that sense of connection, which in Nigeria we really need, isn't it? Yeah. Connection. So Agentic AI can help public service in managing everything and so on. Let's move on, let's round up. So, to do this, we have obstacles, infrastructure. And I have to mention this, even though, to be honest, cloud services have taken that away from us. In Nigeria today, you can have access to several cloud services, whether it is AWS, Azure, which other one? Google's, GCP, which one? DigitalOcean, and so on. So that means even if your system shuts down once power goes off, just host your Agentic AI solution in the cloud. It will be working while you are not even online. So infrastructure is a problem for customers that you are attending to. But we can start by building solutions that will attend to other clients in other countries. Of course, biggest problem is this, API MCP availability. Right now, many companies, many services are still on API level. Even in Nigeria, there are so many banks that are still not on API level. We tried to build an open banking solution for someone, I don't want to mention the company's name, but the bank that they were using advertised that they have APIs. But it was not really there. So how did you build MCP for that? So that is the gap. Next. And when I say API, it means that right now you still have to go to their website to access your account balance and so on. You can't just query with Python code. Autonomy and security risks, that's a problem in a way. And that's because when an AI solution is handling everything for you, and you are too lazy to go through every step of the way, you might leave it to hallucinate and do different things. It could tell your customers, I'm sorry, you don't talk to us like that, if not we'll cancel your opportunity and everything. Customers are only nice in Nigeria now. Transparency and reliability. Agentic AI systems, unless the algorithm is transparent, and that is why N8N is important for you to go through. Every Agentic AI system shows you the architecture. Because if you don't know how it handles any query, you might think it's doing it the way you expect it to do, but it might not be doing it. And so on. Security and privacy, like I said, if you trust it to handle your bank documents, fine. Don't be surprised if it sends your record to EFCC for a yearly approval. Taxation in particular. Taxation, let's put it inside this thing so that everything it makes for you, it will tell the government. Let's move to the next. I want to go to the conclusion. Next. So human in the loop, please always make sure that there is somewhere in that design that allows the owner, whoever employs your Agentic AI, to have a feedback of what it's about to do. Even if it's 5 minutes, I'm about to pay 500,000 to this particular worker that has been messaging you on WhatsApp. Should I go ahead? Then you can say yes. And if you don't answer within 5 minutes, maybe you should go ahead. But at least that should be in the loop. And it's in your design. It's whatever you design on N8N when you build your API that it will do. Let's move on. Let's move on. Skills. For me, I have decided that from next year, Agentic AI has to be part of what will be taught at RAIN. Do you know why? It is becoming a no-code thing. Everybody is building agents that do this, that do that. If it's web development, there's an agent that can build website. In the past, we would prompt ChatGPT or Claude, please design a website for me that looks like this, that looks like that. But now there are agents that once you tell them what you want, they will reason, redesign, and keep redesigning till it fits what you have requested for. And even go ahead to help you host it. So if this is the future, people that own startups or businesses may think, let me learn about Agentic AI so I can know how to use. It's one thing to even use, it's another thing to build. For some people, you don't know how to use. Where do I go to employ an agent? Anything. Okay. Next. Next. Agentic AI leads to AGI. It's almost getting there. Once you have all the agents that can do everything, that agentic AI becomes like a person because it now has access. Keep going. Yes. Last slide. Call to action. It behoves on all of us as developers to build with ethics. Because when people trust your agentic AI solution, it must be responsible in itself. Because it could, have access to private data. It could use it on behalf of the employer. You must be very responsible and ethical in your design. Policymakers should develop regulations that will ensure that whoever is employing, like I told you, when somebody is using AI, you might not even know that you're talking to an agent, not a person. So there will be policies to guide all of that and to protect vulnerabilities. Organizations should support the use. And I'm not seeing it very well because I'm too close to the screen. But then society also has to understand and adopt. So at this point, I would like to round up by saying, in this room, we have people who are going to build agentic AI systems, who are going to build agents. And by so doing, it means the population of Nigeria may depend on you, on certain services. The responsibility is on you to uphold the greatest standards, security, confidentiality, and of course, accuracy. Thank you very much.